Do you want to net your clients the most amount of money when you sell their home? Then do this. The next time you go on a listing appointment. Hey, it's Maria Quattrone, and I'm going to talk to you today about how you can net your sellers more money. And so when you're at the listing appointment and you go there to, hopefully they've committed to you already, but what you're going to do is work with them on the staging of the property. And the very first thing you're going to look at is the curb appeal. So does the front door need to be painted? Can you add plants or flowers? Does the front sidewalk or patio need to be power washed? Those are things that buyers look at first thing. They don't like the outside of the home. They're not even going to enter the home. So that is the first thing, first impressions last. Also, you're going to make sure that there's maybe some type of wreath on the door. It could be for holiday or whatever it is, the fall or the spring, that it makes sense. You want to have a spring wreath and it's Christmas. So the first thing is curb appeal. Okay, the next thing, the rear backyard or patio. Now, you want to make sure everything is out of there. Grass is cut. Everything is neat. Everything is clean. Patio furniture. If it's horrible, it should just be thrown away. There's no need to keep patio furniture just for the sake of keeping it. We know what patio furniture looks like in a yard or a big yard or a small yard. So if it's no good, just get rid of it at that time. There's no need to keep, trashy patio furniture around. I know some people do it just because they think it should be there. I've had many conversations like this before. But if they do have good patio furniture, that's awesome because we're going to want to stage that for the pictures. If they have an umbrella, we're going to want to put the umbrella up. We're going to have the table set with napkins and forks and knives and glasses or some type of plastic stemware and plates as well, and maybe some kind of fresh flowers or a pitcher like of lemonade. You want to set it so the new buyer can envision themselves on the patio having a cocktail or a glass of lemonade in the summertime. So, and then the patio also needs to be power washed. And if there's siding on the back and that's dirty, that also needs to be power washed. If there's a fence and the fence looks like it's falling down or it's a little tethered, that should be also painted and fixed if possible. So your outdoor areas, you want to make sure that they are appealing. So not only is the front of the house important, so is the rear of the house important. So the next thing I want to talk about is the kitchen. So when you're going to get the property on the market, I tell all sellers, when you decide to sell, this property is no longer your property, even though you technically still own it. Mindset wise, you don't own it anymore. There's going to be a new homeowner. So we need to get the property ready for the new homeowner. Okay. And so the more a seller can detach themselves, the actually better it's going to be for everybody. We're going to take the emotion out of it. And we're going to look at this as a business transaction. I know it's their home, but they've already mentally, are moving on. And so we have to work with them on that because we don't want them to be upset about every little thing a buyer says also about the house. So this is all about, future pacing clients, having conversations with them about what it's going to be like to work with you and the company, what it's going to be like to go through this process of selling a home. And so you want to explain everything in a lot of detail so that they understand what's happening. And if they don't want to understand everything, then you can be quick with it. But a lot of people do want to know what's going on. So the next thing we're going to do is going to look at the kitchen. And for the kitchen, for the pictures, everything's going to be removed from the counter. I know it's inconvenient for them, coffee pots and dishes and all kinds of stuff people have on their countertop, but we need the countertops completely free of any kind of small appliances, knives, anything like that. I even say, people say, where am I going to put it? Well, some of it they don't really use all the time. So we're going to put that away, get ready to pack. And other things, you can actually store them in your oven. That's also a good place to store them. And maybe some of the things in the cabinets don't need to be there. And maybe you can put the coffee pot in the cabinet or the tea kettle in the cabinet. But for the actual staging and pictures and photos, we're going to have clean countertops, completely clean. We're going to have maybe a bowl of lemons, a bowl of fruit, or some fresh flowers on the table, on the counter, or in a spot in the kitchen that'll make it pop. Okay. So that's really important that we have the kitchen, because people buy kitchens and baths. Okay. So next we'll go to the baths. We want the baths to sparkle, meaning that the entire house should be deep cleaned, not just cleaned, deep cleaned, completely deep cleaned. And so that's usually a little bit more money than a regular cleaning, but it's going to be worth the money spent on that. And I would say use like fresh, fluffy towels, put a new shower curtain up, some candles in there for a nice scent as well. Sometimes it's also good to get one of those plug-ins you plug in. It's like a little set, maybe it's like a jasmine or lavender or something that's like bathrooming. So you want the bathrooms to sparkle. You want to also, if you have a lot of cosmetics or out or perfumes, you want to get rid of all that stuff, put it in a basket and put it in a drawer. But everything should be off the countertops, and maybe just a small vase with flower in it. And in regards also to the bathroom, if your medicine cabinet, if things are falling out at you, they should be removed. You should also take off all your important medicine out of there, just to be careful. I would suggest doing that. So removing your medications and getting rid of, because a lot of people have a lot of crap in there they don't use and they haven't used in 5 years and it's expired. So you got to pack anyway. So just start throwing the stuff out or moving it to another space. So you're going to do that with the bathroom. So we've got the kitchen, the bathrooms, the front of the house, the rear of the house. Okay. Now we're going to go to the closets. So a house can appear to be lots of closets or a little bit of closets. You could have a lot of closets and not appear to have enough storage, because a lot of closets are shoved full of stuff. So, and I see this in a lot of linen closets. So you're going to take out all the unnecessary things that you really, really don't need out of the closet, and you're going to put those away. You are going to start packing your things. So they're going to start packing their things. You're going to tell them to start packing their things. Unless you're a consumer listening to this, you're going to go start packing your things. And the closets, we want to show the buyer that there's plenty of space for their stuff. So a closet that doesn't have a lot of things in it goes a long way in showing buyers that there's storage. Okay. So if you have a room in the house that has loud color, like a red or green or bright blue, my suggestion, if at all possible, is to make that neutral today. It is going to be a contentious point. I know it's not such a big deal. I had a house before where the boys' room was green, the girls' room was red and pink. And it looked, the problem was, it wasn't that the buyers couldn't get past it, it's that it made the pictures look bad. So what we did in this case, because the sellers didn't have time to paint it, is that we virtually painted the walls. And so the pictures online were neutral walls. And we stated that in the MLS listing, but they were neutral walls. And that made such a ton of a difference for the way that the property showed online up front, than having this bright red and bright green walls. So if possible, we want to remove that paint and put a neutral paint up. But if that's not possible, I can virtually do it. It's not the best thing, but it's better than not doing that at all. Okay, so the paint. So then the other thing, I walked through a property the other day, and I noticed that the bulbs were different colors. So we want the bulbs in the house to be all the same colors. So I recommend a soft white and not anything that has any kind of fluorescent in it. We want this to be homey and not feel like an office. So a soft white bulb and all the bulbs the same. And if you have dimmers, you want to make sure that you have bulbs that have dimmers. So when the buyer goes to put the dimmer on, that they can actually use the dimmer. I just bought, somebody bought a bulb for my house and I went to put it on and it's not a dimmer bulb, so it didn't work. So what's the point of that? So sometimes that happens. Make sure that the dimmers also work. If there's any kind of small repairs that are glaringly obvious, like, I don't know, a door is kind of falling off of something, you may want to just fix that, because what it does is it sends a buyer a message that what else is falling apart. So little things like that can just be easily fixed. Just go ahead and fix them. Don't let it go to the market without that. The small repairs, it may seem like not a big deal, but the mindset of the buyer is that what else could be wrong. The next thing, the seller. You want your seller to depersonalize the home as much as possible. That means getting rid of diplomas, pictures, anything politically affiliated. I had clients walk through, and this particular president they didn't like. And then they started going on and on and on about this president and a book and the seller. And it turned them off of the house. I know that probably sounds crazy, but I experienced it. So, and also they start looking at the diploma on the wall and say, oh my God, I went to Yale too. I wonder if I know this person. I'm like, this just happened like 2 weeks ago. So I said, okay, let's just focus on the house. So we want to take the focus off of the seller and onto just the home itself. And so also not only the seller to remove themselves emotionally from the sale of the home, but to remove themselves physically from the sale of the home, meaning completely depersonalize the property. Another thing, if there's not an office space, let's find a space in the office in the property that we can make a little office space. A lot of people work from home, or they also have a home office. So let's just show them easily where that could be in the property. Sometimes we go in and we rearrange the furniture. So there may be too much furniture, so we'll have to remove some items in order to make the rooms feel more spacious. Also, sometimes we want to add curtains, and the curtains high up, down, touching the ground. It makes a room appear bigger. And it also adds a little bit of flair and character to the property. So if there's any vacant homes in the property, what I would do is have those virtually staged so we could show the buyer how to use that particular room, whether that's a basement, a roof deck, a patio, a bedroom, a supposedly office area. Also adding plants, adding some greenery through the home it makes the house shine. It feels alive because you have something alive there. And green looks great in pictures. It really, really looks great in pictures. Smell is so important. So you want to make sure the house smells good. It smells clean. It has a nice aroma, like the vanilla scent or sugar cookie or strawberry. And then perhaps you get some of the plug-ins. You can also plug in, maybe it's like a jasmine or a gardenia or something like that. And make sure that there's no smell of pets in the house. That is and cigarette smoke. Do not smoke in your house. And if you do, it needs to be smoke less. We don't want to smell smoke in somebody's home. No buyer wants that. It's a big, big, big turnoff. I know it's like to each his own. You can smoke in your home if you want, but not when you're selling it. It really, really is a bad look. So no smoking in the house. Make the house smell good. Depersonalize it. Of all sellers and their stuff, the photo albums, the family albums, all of that should be taken off. Your refrigerator should be clean. No pictures, no magnets, nothing on it. Nothing to say who you are. They shouldn't be able to know who you are when they're in that home, because for the buyer, we're creating a picture that they are going to live in this home, and what does it feel like for them to live in this home. So if a seller, you can help a seller do this, this is going to help and assist them in netting more money in today's market and selling faster. So do me a favor, if you like this, share it with somebody and make a comment and make a like. And I wish you all a great day and happy selling. Get that listing sold.